I'm Sylvia from Vintage Kitchen Vixen, where I share tips for simple living, creating memorable gatherings, and preparing wholesome and traditional recipes with a vintage twist. Today is a very bright day, and I am outside, so I don't have my usual camera setup, so I'm filming this with my phone, so I'm really sorry if I'm shaky or anything. Today I'm foraging, urban foraging for garlic mustard. Now, if you've never heard of garlic mustard before, it is an invasive plant species. It was introduced to North America by European settlers in the early 1800s, and it was brought over because it's an edible herb. My neighbors. So here's a little bit of garlic mustard. It grows great in disturbed areas, so it's pretty resilient, and I'm pretty sure I picked the garlic mustard here last year, but I don't think I got the full root, and the roots do go pretty deeply, so it came back. Here I am weeding garlic mustard out of my front garden bed, and that's pretty perfect because it needed to get done anyway. Actually, I saved these weeds just for you because I really wanted to film this video. And here I am wearing my very elegant garden gloves and my wellies because I'm not gonna wear my nice shoes when I'm mucking around in the dirt. So it's very, very inconveniently growing into this shrub. And it was doing this last year too. Ouch. And I know my arms are gonna be all scratched up and they're gonna be itching. My paper bag is pretty much full already, but from here I just need to pick it in between the cracks mostly, and then that'll be my foraging of garlic mustard for the year. I'm trying to get them by the roots, but some of them kind of broke, which means they're going to be coming back next year, and I don't mind because I really enjoy making pesto, and I guess I'm sure I'll enjoy the horseradish too, so I really enjoy cooking with it. But if you are foraging in urban areas or in forests, I really recommend you make an effort to get the whole root. I'm really sorry about the background noise, but people are working. It's Saturday. Hopefully you can hear me. When you get these in the wild, especially from a forest trail, you're doing a huge favor when you pick it, because just by rooting up one plant, you could be stopping the spread of hundreds of new plants, because these garlic mustard grows hundreds of seeds, so you're doing conservationists a huge favor. And if I really wanted to get all of my garlic mustard out of my garden, I would be working with the trowel right now. But I don't mind it if my garlic mustard comes back because I love making pestos with it, and I'm sure I'll love the horseradish too. That's going to be new. I'm really sorry about all that background noise. I've had enough of it, so I am just going to record over myself. So garlic mustard, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's an invasive species that was introduced to North America at the turn of the 19th century by European settlers who wanted to use it as an herb. It has a distinct garlic smell when crushed, and it's the easiest way to identify it. If you are looking for it in the wild, it does have dark green leaves with scalloped edges, and the second year plants start producing white flowers with 4 petals. Towards the end of summer and early fall, that's when seeds start to appear. Since being introduced at the turn of the 19th century, it can now be found in the eastern states, the Midwest, and it's starting to creep into the West as well, and can be found in the Pacific Northwest, as well as in Ontario and Quebec in Canada, and in some areas on the east and west coasts of Canada. So right now, people are really being encouraged to pick garlic mustard because it is threatening native species. In Ontario, it's trilliums, wild hyacinth, and wood poppies that are at risk because of garlic mustard. It doesn't have any natural predators over here. Animals don't want to eat it, and so it's just choking everything out in the forest. So if you do pick it, make sure not to compost it, especially the roots and seeds, because it'll just continue to spread. It's best to harvest garlic mustard leaves in early spring when they still taste mild. You can use them raw in salads, or you can make a pesto. And as the weather heats up, the leaves start to get more bitter, but you can wilt them like spinach. You can dry them and use them in meat rubs and just as a seasoning. You can eat the roots. Those are spicy, like horseradish. So I'll be trying to make a horseradish today for my very first time. The flowers can be chopped in salads, and seeds can also be eaten. So the seeds can be used to make mustards. They can also be used for sprouting purposes. Now, garlic mustard can be found in wooded areas, in fence lines, swamps, ditches, roadsides. They really thrive in disturbed areas. So the first time I ever noticed it was on a hiking trail. But let's go inside and clean it up, shall we? Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to be taking off the root, and I'm going to be washing that separately and washing the leaves separately, because last year I just threw everything into this bin and I had such muddy water. It was truly disgusting. So I'm going to start off by doing an initial rinse here, and then I'll be sorting the leaves. Look at this root. If that would have been in here, I would have had quite the mess on hand. I'm still going to have quite the mess on hand, which is why I think a lot of people don't want to bother with foraging, because it is work. I mean, foraging is fun, and it's a really neat skill to have. It's actually on my list of 15 old-fashioned skills that we should all reclaim. I have a video that's all on that, so I will link that in the description below in case you want to check that out. I'll be washing the roots separately. Ideally, I would have a little root washing station or a produce washing station outside, but I don't have one of those. Maybe one day. Life goal. Maybe when I have my homestead. So after this first rinse, I'm going to do a vinegar rinse. And then the roots, I think the roots don't need a vinegar rinse, but I'll probably do it just in case. If you don't have vinegar, you can also rinse using baking soda, and then just let it soak for 12 minutes. And anything that I have as waste, I'll just be throwing it in the garbage. I have a lot of garlic mustard leaves. Like, a lot. It's pretty crazy. And my water is already getting filthy. So I'm thinking I'm going to let this soak a little bit. Oh, I have a root here. And I think I'm going to wash the roots first so I can clear up the other side of my sink for the second washing. So I'll be giving these a rough rinse, and then I'm going to be giving them a much thorough cleaning. But for now, I just want to clear out this sink. So I just finished washing my first washing of the roots, and this is what I have. I'm going to be doing a second washing, and I'll be trying to scrub most of the dirt off. I don't know if I should peel it. I might, but I also fear that peeling it is going to take away most of it. So we'll see how it goes after the scrubbing. But right now I'm going to move on to the leaves. So I think what I am going to do here, I am going to be doing this for now. And I'm going to be washing them a third time. So it is a lot of work. There is no denying that. But I also want to make sure that my garlic mustard is clean. And fortunately, I know my area, I don't use any pesticides on my land, unlike my neighbors. You could probably leave the stems on if you want, but I figure when I use parsley and any herbs, I usually remove the stems, and then usually most of the time I will put the stems in my stock bag. So I think I'm going to do the same with these garlic mustard stems and use it the next time I make a stock. So that should be interesting, because why not? You know, waste not, want not. That's one of my mottos. So yeah, this is going to keep me busy for a while, so I'm going to stop recording for now. Oh, by the way, something I forgot to mention, just a couple of fun facts about garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is rich in vitamin C and vitamin A, and it also goes by another name, and that is Jack of the Hedge. Vinegar. Yes, this took much longer than expected, but there's a light. The leaves, this water is a lot cleaner over here. So the vinegar rinse is just the final touch. And then I will pronounce the leaves clean. Yeah, there's You can see a little bit of silt at the bottom, but it's not anywhere close to what was in this bin after I finished the initial rinsing. I think it would be a lot of fun to try making a mustard out of the seeds. A garlic mustard out of the seeds. That would be a fun experiment, but I do not let my garlic mustard plants get anywhere as big that they end up producing seeds. But late summer, early fall, that's when you start noticing all the seeds. Okay, so I'm gonna empty out this bin, and the roots are gonna go in there, and we'll scrub them, and then hopefully it'll all be clean, and then I'll drain this, I'll spin it out in my salad spinner, and then we'll make pesto and okay, so I have my little scrub brush. I'm gonna have to replace that soon. I don't want to peel this, but I think I'm gonna be giving it a trim. Pretty amazing how deep the roots can go, isn't it? Quite a few roots broke in the ground, so I know I'm going to get more garlic mustard this year, but I mean, this plant's not coming up again. Unless it surprises me and comes up again. But that's already much better. One done. Alright, so I scrubbed my horseradish, and after... Why am I calling it horseradish? I'm calling it horseradish because it smells like horseradish. This garlic mustard root smells spicy, and I'm very excited to turn it into a horseradish. That's why I'm calling it horseradish, because that's what I'm going to be making with it, and that's what it reminds me of. But after washing it, I realized that I do want to pair it. So that's what I'm going to do. I think some of the smaller pieces I will still use, but I also want to cut it into more manageable pieces for when I run it through the food processor, which is what I am going to be doing. So and some of them, let's see. Okay. You can probably see that. I don't know. Okay, so that doesn't go deep to the root, so that's good. I thought it was some kind of rot, decay, but it's fine. But that piece, definitely not including that in my horseradish. So I'm just going to work my way through my bowl here and pair what I need to pair what I feel like I need to pair at least. And then it'll be horseradish time, and I'm so glad I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, because for a while I thought, especially when I was sorting and cleaning the leaves, I thought it was never going to end. Okay, see, look, I cut the root. So I think that's why it's a good idea to cut it, because I don't want that in my horseradish. That must be an older root, because it was pretty big. But the rest is fine. Let's see if there's some more. That kind of sucks, but I'm happy that I decided I need to trim it a little bit. It smells so good. It doesn't even smell like garlic mustard. By the way, when you make garlic mustard horseradish, I'll link you to the website I got it from, because I've never made horseradish before, let alone garlic mustard horseradish. So it's not my recipe. They're saying that it'll stay good for 3 to 4 weeks in the fridge. So when you make it, just plan on making roast beef or something, and you can stick it in mashed potatoes and just get creative with it, use it in sandwiches, stir it up with mayo, and make yourself like a little horseradish sauce. Put it on your leftover roast beef sandwiches. Kind of like Arby's. A lot more delicious than Arby's. I used to love Arby's, their curly fries, but I can't say that I'm a huge fan of fast food for obvious reasons. Does that surprise you? It's designed to taste good. It's engineered to taste good. There are teams of people to make sure that the fast food tastes good. But it never leaves me satisfied. I never feel full after eating fast food. Disgusting, yes. But full, satisfied? I would not use that term. I describe how fast food leaves me feeling. I'm very excited that I found out that the root is edible and that the whole plant is edible. It's very exciting. But this horseradish, there's going to be white wine vinegar in there and salt. So it's basically free. And that is pretty cool. And I don't grow, at least I don't have any horseradish growing on my property. And I don't have room for it. My mom, she used to have a little homestead property. She raised emus for like maybe 3 or 4 years of my life, between the ages of 8 and 11, so 3 years. And she had a horseradish, but I don't remember her making anything with it. Well, I did it. It's washed. Now I'm going to dry it. And then there is pesto to be made and horseradish. I was reading Forager's Feast, and she was saying that with the seeds, you can actually sprout them. So I'm a big advocate of sprouting, and I've been doing a lot of it lately. Just until I start getting greens from my garden. So that was very interesting, although I don't have, actually, if I walk along the forest path, there's a trail where I used to live, and that's when I first learned about garlic mustard, because I kept seeing it, I'm like, what is this? And then I found out what it was, and then I just saw it everywhere. So I know what the seeds look like. They're almost black, like a dark brown to a black color. So maybe early fall, I'll get myself some seeds and test these sprouts. I have 1 garlic clove that's going in here. Oh, you know what? It's usually quite helpful when you have a blade to chop everything, to process everything. All right, now my blade's in. That looks better. All right, so 2 cups of garlic mustard leaves, and it was gently packed, not super packed, but enough packed. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt right here. I'm just going to put that in for now because the parm has some salt. And I'm just going to be tasting as I go and adding more if I see that it needs it. I'm going to do some fresh pepper. But yeah, I was saying that cheese doesn't freeze well, so my other batch, which is going to be much bigger, I'm just going to do it without the cheese. And I'm going to freeze it, and when I'm ready to use it, I'll blend in some cheese. All right, that looks good. I have a bunch of cheese. This is like 3/4 cup, so that's probably a little bit too enthusiastic. I'm going to do 1/2 cup. Just put some aside here. 1/2 cup of parm. And last but not least, I need olive oil. So olive oil, I don't want to give a solid measurement for it. I'm going to start with 1/4 cup, and I'm going to add more as needed. So if I want it to have a thinner consistency, or if I'm not happy with the consistency, I'll add more oil. It's the same way I make my hummus. I don't like measuring because every batch is different. Hummus, I don't even follow a recipe. I just have a formula that I follow, and it's the same thing with pesto. Although this isn't really pesto, okay? Okay. So, I'm gonna mix this and see how it goes. I know this needs some more processing, but I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna see what the texture looks like. See whether or not I want to add more olive oil. So I'll show you what I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm happy with that consistency. So 1/4 cup olive oil. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous color. I'm gonna taste it. It's bitter. It's supposed to be. But I think I'm gonna add some more salt. In the end, I have a cup of my garlic mustard root, so it's all gonna go in there. I mentioned already that this is not my recipe, but rather it's a recipe from Edible Wild Food. And they're saying if you want a milder horseradish, then you add the white wine vinegar immediately after the roots are chopped up. But if you want a stronger flavor, then you have to wait a few minutes after processing the roots and then add the vinegar. So I think I'm going to be adding it a couple of minutes after I run it through my food processor. So I'm just going to add my salt for now. Oops, that's too much salt. I only want half a teaspoon. I was adding in a full teaspoon, but I caught myself in time. So we are gonna turn that on, and here we go. All right, so right now it's just finely chopped. So I'm gonna let this sit for a minute or two, and then I'm gonna add the vinegar. And if I decide I want it to be more liquid or not as dry, then I will add a little bit more. So I'm just gonna be playing it by ear. Okay, so it's been sitting for a couple of minutes. So now I'm going to add my vinegar. I'm gonna start with 2. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm gonna do 2. 1, 2. Maybe I should start with 1, but we'll see how it goes. And on again. I'm gonna give that a taste. See if I need to add more vinegar. Whew, that's piquant. I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of vinegar. It really got spicy, so maybe I should have mixed it right away because I didn't think it was going to get that strong. It was only a couple of minutes and it doesn't need long. Okay, so one more time. If you're new to the kitchen and you liked what you saw today, I really hope you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you never miss an episode of the kitchen. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of the kitchen. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, especially if you have experience with picking garlic mustard or any other kind of foraging. I'd love to hear about your experience. And if you feel so moved, share this on social media, especially if you live in one of the areas where garlic mustard grows, because more people need to be picking this invasive species because it's taking over. It's taking over. Okay, I'll stop being dramatic. But really, if you do live in one of these areas, pick garlic mustard. Anyhow, that's it for me for today. I do have a blog post on the subject, so I'll link it below just in case you want to take a look at it. And other foraging news, I also have a video on picking wild violets and what to do with them, so you can take a look at that as well. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye! So, what I was saying... Never mind. So this just happened to me. This is what happens when you buy cheap scissors. I don't think these scissors will ever be the same again. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this with a paring knife.